Hi, everyone, and welcome to the LM Report. I'm your host, Lima, and you're joining me for episode 3 on the second day of April 2025. Today's headline is a bombshell. Deep state funding is being cut off worldwide, and Elon found the generals coordinating the attacks. We're diving deep into a seismic shift shaking the foundations of power, political battles raging in Washington, judicial overreach spiraling out of control, global maneuvers reshaping alliances, and a coordinated insurgency unraveling before our eyes. This is a pivotal moment, folks, and we've got a lot to cover. So grab a coffee, settle in, and let's unpack this together. It's going to be a wild ride. The deep state's funding crisis, a global takedown. Let's start with the big picture. The deep state, those entrenched corrupt politicians, tech billionaires manipulating platforms, fake news outlets spinning lies, and shadowy puppet masters pulling strings behind the scenes, is in full-blown panic mode. Why? Because President Trump and his team are on a mission to defund their entire operation, and this isn't just a domestic housecleaning, it's a worldwide takedown. Picture a vast, sprawling network they've spent decades building, fueled by your hard-earned tax dollars, stretching across borders to fund organizations that dictate policies, stir chaos, and undermine sovereignty. This isn't some conspiracy theory scribbled on a napkin, it's a machine we've all seen in action, from riots in American cities to shadowy NGOs meddling in foreign elections. Trump's plan is simple but devastating: cut off the money and the whole thing collapses. Without cash, they can't operate. No more funding for riots tearing up streets, no more front groups masquerading as grassroots movements, no more paid operatives telling us how to live our lives. It all grinds to a screeching halt. Think about every time you've seen orchestrated unrest: Portland 2020, Minneapolis, even the Capitol chaos. Those weren't spontaneous, they were bankrolled. Once that spigot's turned off, the deep state's left high and dry, unable to function, unable to push their agenda. This is their absolute worst nightmare, and Trump knows it's the key to dismantling their power. But he's not just swinging a sledgehammer blindly. He's strategic, methodical, exposing the waste, fraud, and abuse step by step, showing the American people exactly where their money's been funneled. He's peeling back the curtain on the judges, too, revealing how they've morphed into tyrants, rogue actors shredding the Constitution to protect their cronies. Why not shut them down immediately? Because Trump's playing the long game. He's letting the enemy destroy themselves. Why interrupt when they're doing such a bang-up job of it? Look at the Democrats right now, their party's imploding, approval ratings plummeting to a measly 21% and still sinking like a stone. The judicial branch isn't far behind, overreaching so far they're practically begging people to notice. Let's rewind to Biden's border catastrophe for a second. It's a perfect example. They threw the gates wide open, tore down Trump's policies, and crowed. No wall needed, open borders are fantastic. The Biden team, Obama's fingerprints all over it, ushered in gang members like MS-13, Tren de Aragua, criminals, rapists, drug traffickers, the whole rogues gallery. In the beginning, some bought the line. These are dreamers, they just want a better life. But then reality crashed in. Cities like Chicago, New York, Denver got swamped, resources drained, schools overcrowded, hospitals buckling. Crime spiked hard, rapes up 30% in some areas, murders ticking up, chaos spilling into quiet suburbs. People started waking up, saying, wait a minute, this isn't what we signed up for. They turned on Biden fast. Even some deep state loyalists jumped ship when the optics got too ugly. You can tell people the truth all day long, but until they see it with their own eyes, feel it in their daily lives, they don't believe it. Trump's doing the exact same thing now with the judiciary. He's showing the entire country how it's been weaponized, turned into a cudgel against anyone who dares step out of line. These judges aren't just interpreting laws, they're making them up, shielding the corrupt, punishing the patriots. They're sleepers planted years ago by the deep state to protect their own, ensure their buddies never see a jail cell, just a slap on the wrist if they're caught. When Trump took office in 2025, they activated like a sleeper cell, hundreds of them, swarming to control the executive branch, dictate policy from the bench. Imagine this, 200, 300 unelected judges, nobody voted for them, screaming, you can't deport illegals, you have to fund this pet project, I'm running the government now. People are starting to ask the obvious question, if these guys are calling the shots, why do we even have a president? It's not just overreach, it's an unelected bureaucracy seizing power, pure and simple. That's tyranny, folks, straight out of the history books. The deep state's howling about a constitutional crisis, yeah, one they're manufacturing. Trump's letting it play out, letting them expose themselves, waiting for the public to hit their limit. When that dam breaks, when people say, enough is enough, Congress will have no choice but to step in, and this gets fixed faster than you can say Article 3. The insurgency unmasked, Elon's big reveal. Now here's where it gets downright explosive. While these judges flex their gavels, there's a full-on insurgency brewing, domestic terrorists in two flavors, some in robes pushing legal warfare, others on the streets breaking windows and starting fires. And who just blew the lid off it? Elon Musk. He's tracked down the generals coordinating these attacks, not foot soldiers, but the masterminds at the top. He's not naming names yet, but he dropped a hint on Fox News. We know who they are, 20+ years in prison, minimum. Think about what we've seen: Tesla dealerships keyed, windows smashed, even firebombs in some cases. That's not random vandalism, it's organized, funded, directed. Elon's got the evidence, and it's sending shockwaves. These attacks aren't just about Teslas, they're a proxy war against Trump's allies, against anyone disrupting the deep state's grip. The more they push, the more they wake people up. There's already a poll out, Rasmussen reports, showing the Democrats splitting apart. 59% of all voters say the party should go moderate, only 27% want more left-wing lunacy. Even among Dems, it's 49% moderate, 38% liberal. Their base is peeling away, tired of the extremism. Trump's counterinsurgency is a masterstroke. He's deporting their ground troops, illegals they've relied on for chaos, and shredding their narrative. The media's lost its mojo, nobody's swallowing the spin anymore. They're desperate, flailing, and it's showing. Their whole game is to hide the real criminals, the ones pocketing kickbacks, selling state secrets, shredding the Constitution for profit. Trump's ripping that veil off, exposing who's behind the COVID lies, who's itching for war, who's hellbent on tanking this country. You've been funding it all, your taxes, your future, and now we're seeing who's been cashing those checks. The people will demand it stops, and they're already starting to. No criminal syndicate can survive without money. The mafia can't run on fumes, neither can the deep state. Cut the cash, and the low-level grunts scatter, no pay, no loyalty. They're not doing this for the love of the game, they're in it for the paycheck. A global money trail and economic revolution. This isn't just an American fight, it's global. The World Health Organization, World Economic Forum, World Trade Organization, all their pet projects collapse without US dollars propping them up. Trump's plan goes way beyond defunding, it's a complete economic overhaul. He's pushing tariffs on countries exploiting us, ramping up oil production to make us energy independent, selling AI tech and gold reserves to bring in external revenue. The goal? Replace the IRS entirely. Imagine a future with no income taxes, zero, because we're self-sufficient, pulling in billions from abroad. As that external income climbs, the internal burden shrinks, and eventually we don't need to borrow a dime from the Federal Reserve. That's the real kicker, the Fed's their open-ended credit card, the source of all this laundering. Trump wants it gone, turned into a hollow shell, a relic of a corrupt past. He'll say, we don't need you anymore, we're running on tariffs, energy, tech sales. No more borrowed billions for ridiculous programs, no more slush funds for NGOs, no more money laundering through fake initiatives. The deep state ceases to exist because they can't pay anyone, judges, rioters, bureaucrats, all out of a job. It's a total reset and it changes everything. Of course, getting there's the hard part. They've spent decades building this beast and it's not going down without a fight. They'll throw everything they've got, legal roadblocks, street chaos, media smears, but it's a losing battle. History backs this up. JFK went straight at the deep state, look how that ended. Reagan tried, made huge gains with the economy, rolled back their schemes, but they clawed it all back after he left, made it worse. Trump's learned from that, he's not charging in alone, he's rallying the people first. Under Biden, we saw a tyrannical government, open borders, censorship, mandates. Now it's a tyrannical judiciary, unelected judges trying to run the show. People saw the first, they're seeing the second, and they're fed up. Trump's building that wave, and when it crests, it'll sweep this mess away. Judicial overreach, a case study in chaos. Let's zoom in on the judiciary. Boston's a prime example. Judge Mark Somerville dismissed charges against an illegal alien, Wilson Martel LeBron, then held ICE agent Brian Sullivan in contempt for deporting him outside the courthouse. The message was crystal clear: do your job, enforce the law, and I'll throw you in jail. It's not just absurd, it's a direct attack on federal authority. Tom Homan, Kristi Noem, and the DOJ are stepping in, citing the Aliens Act and federal supremacy. Somerville's stunt won't stand. But imagine if it did, every IC agent facing prosecution for deporting illegals? The whole system would freeze. Trump's already slashed border crossings 7,000 in March, down 94% from Biden's peak, all with executive orders. Biden swore it'd take Congress. Trump proved him a liar in weeks. Then there's Cory Booker, hours on the Senate floor, breaking filibuster records, defending illegals while ignoring victims like Laken Riley, Rachel Morin, Jocelyn Nungary. Stephen Miller called him out. Silent when Americans were murdered, raging when terrorists get deported. It's the deep state playbook: defend gang members, terrorists, open borders, war, everything people reject. Trump won in 2024 because the vote was too big to rig, people said. Reverse this garbage. The deep state's still pushing the same tired lines, and it's driving their own party away. Soon, they'll be in single digits, shouting into the void. Evidence piles up, chaos escalates. Trump stacking evidence like a prosecutor building an airtight case: Russia hoax, impeachments, 2020 election theft, judicial tyranny. The Epstein client list, child trafficking, it's all coming, and it'll be their coffin nail. Virginia Roberts' car crash? Suspicious timing, hit by a school bus, renal failure, days to live. She's stabilizing now, but the deep state might try again. They're terrified of her testimony tying Epstein to their elites. Tesla vandals? Caught daily, David Moeller's facing a year in Arizona for keying one. It's coordinated: USAID, Soros, NGOs, and Elon's tracing it. CNN slipped, admitting Soros hides in shadows while mocking Musk for being open. The double standards glaring. Doge is blowing up the Social Security scam, millions of non-citizens with numbers, voting, grabbing benefits they never earned. Antonio Gracias, CEO of Valor Equity Partners, uncovered it. Watchdogs ignored it because they're in on it. This is a mafia-style syndicate: folks, judges, cops, bureaucrats, all on the take. Trump's showing the whole matrix, not just pieces. Biden, Obama, Clinton, it's the entire system they've built. The Federal Reserve's the root. Without killing that, it'll sprout again. Elon's tracking the generals behind Tesla attacks, 20-plus years in prison looming. They're panicking, making sloppy moves, and Trump's letting them dig deeper. Global flashpoints and strategic wins. Globally, they're jailing dissent. Le Pen in France faces prison for 2.9 million euros, while Christine Lagarde walks free after misusing 403 million. Two-tier justice, same as here. Trump's pressuring the UK, no trade without free speech, a shot at their privilege-based system. Putin's spilling on Greenland, a strategic gem since the 1860s, packed with minerals, oil, military value. Zelensky's stalling peace, demanding NATO, deep states desperate to keep Ukraine's leverage. Scorched earth's on the table, but Trump's ready, playing Nessun Dorma for a reason. He knows their endgame. Christine Grady's out at NIH. Fauci's wife, long overdue. The 2020 election frauds cracking, FBI buried Hunter's laptop, leaked lies to AP. Wisconsin's voter ID win? Massive makes rigging tougher despite sketchy results. Proxy voting stalled the SAVE Act. Johnson's regrouping, maybe strategically. Adam Schiff's blocking Trump's D.C. attorney pick, scared of prosecution. Democrats are at 21%, losing moderates. 49% want sanity, not extremism. The road to Independence Day 2026. Trump's eyeing the midterms: cut the funding, kill the corruption, get patriots in Congress who serve us, not donors. By Independence Day 2026, he wants it done. Soros, NGOs, rioters, election cheats, all starved out. No more millions for politicians, only those who want to serve will step up. The people take the power back. It's the biggest sting operation ever, and they're walking right into it. That's all for today, folks. Be well, be safe, stay prepared. If this lit a fire under you, hit that subscribe button, join the LM Report community as we keep exposing the truth. See you next time.